Good Wednesday morning, East Tennessee. My name is David Aldridge, Chief Meteorologist of Captain AccuWeather, coming to you by way of the Captain AccuWeather Command Center. On behalf of Madlock Tire Service and Auto Repair, East Tennessee's #1 tire shop and auto repair since 1953. They have 5 convenient locations. Not everybody needs a new set of tires right now, but you probably need an oil change every couple of months, right? And maybe you're overdue. They have a great opportunity for you to get an oil change in a time that's convenient for you. We're going to talk about their website coming up a little bit later, but here's just one example. Here's what Madlock Tire Service looks like from the road in Lenoir City. They've got their Tennessee flags, the United States flag. Love it. Madlock Tire Service and Auto Repair. Check them out. I think you'll be impressed. Their service is second to none. By the way, temperatures 33. Do I say 33? Yeah, 33 degrees at Oak Ridge, while it's 38 in Knoxville. Well, that can't possibly be, Aldridge, because if I do my math, that's 5-degree difference and a 10-degree difference between that and Rockwood. I know it's weird, but sometimes when you get a southwest wind at night, you can have some variability. 10-degree variability between Rockwood and Oak Ridge, but that's the way it goes. And it's 46 right now in Newport, 46 degrees in Sevierville, 38 in Crossville. If you're on the call, would love to say good morning to you. It is Wednesday, the 29th of January. Where did the time go? Yeah, it's been pretty breezy on hilltops. I mean, you can see the blue areas. Got a sustained wind of 14 at Sevierville, 7 miles an hour there in Newport, 10 in Knoxville. So given the fact that it is technically 38, feels like 31. Given the wind that we have at the present time, in 36 is what it feels like in Maryville. If you're on the call, I want to say good morning to you. I have a few comments that might be trickling in. Steve Stone's got a new picture of his Jeep. Maybe it was new yesterday, but he's got his smiley face and his sunshine. So happy to see Steve here. He's on YouTube. Glad to have him here. But if you have a comment, an observation, I'd love to hear from you. Wind gusts are a little stronger in the Smokies. They look like they're over 40. 44 miles an hour estimated there in green. Some of those spots in the Smokies have had a pretty breezy night. Visibility not an issue, so we can scratch off the fog from the ledger. Meanwhile, there is some snow at the top of this map up in New York State. But really, when you look at the radar, not much to see here. If you look at the cloud situation, and there are quite a few of those in Texas, it would appear those clouds are headed here, and you would be correct. It'll still be a mostly sunny day today, but I expect those high clouds to be more apparent than they were yesterday. They were pretty much absent from the view yesterday. We put the clouds and radar put together and see the snow in New York State, see the clouds coming in from Memphis, so expect a mostly sunny day with a few cirrus clouds from time to time. Here's what I expect. High temperature in the mid to upper 50s. I think there's going to be a chance if some of us eclipse 60. Perhaps that happens in Tellico Plains or Athens, Southern Valley. But I have us at 56 for Oak Ridge, 56 for La Follette, and 53 in Crossville. Good morning to you. If you're on the call, would love to say hi to you. I know there's a lot going on today, perhaps in your life, and if it is, today's one of those days you can enjoy. Make sure you grab the sunglasses. You don't want to leave home without them. Hey, here's an earmark. Look at this. Sun rises at 7:38, but goes to bed now precisely 6 o'clock. Oh, that's good news. That if you're on Team Spring, you love the longer days, right? It helps lift the mood. In some cases, when you're actually adding now, we're now adding 1 minute, 46 seconds of daylight. We have over 10 hours and 20 minutes plus. So you're looking at, yeah, it's nice. Yeah, it's nice to have a long day. It's nice to have a long day, and that's what you're going to get now as we head into the rest of the season, because obviously spring, our days get even longer, right till the summer solstice in June. Bus stop forecast here at 6:44 will be in the mid-40s, I think, by 10, and for pickup, you may be delightfully surprised. It feels great outside. Normal high is 49. And today, I think we'll make a run toward 56 at 2:57 by the time we hit, say 3:30 or so. So by 3:34, we should have hit our high temperature in most cases. I got a couple of notes from you that might be coming in. I have some other notes I want to share with you. The record high today, this is interesting, 73. Now, we're not going to be anywhere close to 73 degrees, but it's interesting. We've done it not once, not twice, but 3 times. We did it in 1947. That's the Harry Truman era. 1957, that's the Dwight D. Eisenhower era. And we did it 2002, which would have been George W. Bush. So you had 3 years where we've hit 73 on this date, and we've been as cold as -3 in 1897. That's back when Grover Cleveland was president the second time, if you keep track of that, but -3. That's cold. 1897, that's a long time ago. And obviously with longer days, many of us are thrilled about what we're going to see in the afternoon today. Hopefully you'll get out and enjoy it. I know the dog who might be have kept up, maybe if the dog has been kept in the house for a while, would like a warmer afternoon to take a walk. Not much to see on the radar here. If we expand the view, the entire state looks good. There's some wind concerns in Brown over Roanoke, but it's the southern sections of the country that were reeling in snow a week ago or so. I believe it was the 22nd in Pensacola. We're going to talk about snowfall analysis here in a moment, but it is snowing. It is currently snowing in upstate New York, from Buffalo to Rochester to Syracuse and the Tug Hill Plateau. But you might be thinking, they're used to it. And in many ways they are. This is what they expect in January. And going into February, they expect lake effect snows to be a factor. And in many cases, that's what they're seeing at this hour. If you're on the call, would love to say hi to you. I'm going to move if I can, I'll move my lightning strikes to the other side so I can see. Maybe that won't matter on this format. Let me go back and see what I have as far as comments. I got Terry Blake here. She says, good morning or hi, David. She's got a 34-degree temperature in Sevierville. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Everybody has some variability apparently this morning. I appreciate that update. Always do. Crystal says, bring on the 50s and 60s, she says. She's on Team Spring. Love it. And Doris Wincham, I think I see Fred all the time. It's nice to see Doris. She's on YouTube. If there's any family connection, good morning on YouTube. She's got 39 in Maryville. I'm going to assume because Fred is on Facebook. It's a husband and wife on 2 different platforms. I mean, who would have thought of that? But he's got 39 in Maryville, and he's on Facebook. Love it. Wanda Poe is here. She says, morning, David. Looking forward to the rain. Still snow. Bring on snow. She's hoping for some snow. She's not done with winter. Wanda still is hoping for some more winter weather. I don't see much. Certainly not for the rest of the month. Of course, the month ends on Friday. How about the rainfall? 2.19. That is rain and melted snow. We have had 4.9 inches of snow. That was updated about a week after we had 5.1. They shaved 0.2 inches off our record. That's okay, but they said there was some kind of miscommunication with the observer. Either still, many of us picked up about 5. So keep in mind, 4.9, I believe the official measurement in places like Pensacola was well over 7, maybe 8. That means they've had more snow than we've had. Now, who would have thought that? That's crazy land. When Pensacola, Florida gets more snow than Knoxville, you know something's weird, right? And now we're moving into warmer weather. Some people are going to rejoice that Team Snow, they might be tempted to spike the football. But beware, Groundhog Punxsutawney Phil comes out Sunday. Sunday. The 2nd is when Phil will come out and render his prognosis. Anyway, future rainfall doesn't show anything today or tomorrow. Let's keep the clock moving. But we do know some spots of rain may occur Friday afternoon. And it's not that heavy everywhere, but because of the brushing of a warm front that lifts toward the Commonwealth of Kentucky, some of us may pick up a 1/10 of an inch, maybe pick up a 1/4 inch in Crossville just on Thursday. But then once we move into Friday, that's when the cold front approaches, and that means heavier rains will move in for the drive-in. And by midday on Friday, many of us may have picked up a 1/2 inch in Knoxville. And it might be twice as high in Crossville and Jamestown. So there will be, again, variability, lesser amounts for Greenville, it would appear, about 1/3 of an inch for Newport and Maryville, as well as maybe Tellico Plains, about a 1/2 inch. And if we carry this right through about 11 o'clock on Friday night, many of us may be closing in on 0.68. Again, this is not to be taken literally, but it gives us some guidance that rain might be a little heavier west of I-75. So we'll keep an eye on that. By the way, Madlock Tire Service and Auto Repair, East Tennessee's #1 tire service and auto repair since 1953. They have a great website, madlocktireservice.com. Let me say that again, madlocktireservice.com is the great place to be because not only do they have a location in Knoxville, Farragut, on Kingston Pike, but they have one in Maryville, they have one in Lenoir City, they have a convenient location in McMinn County in Athens. And if you have locations, if you're near Hardin Valley, they also have a location which is great. And when you look at this particular image, you see the phone numbers, okay, I see the address, but what would really make it fancy is if we could just schedule our own appointment on the website. Ding, 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 ding. That's what I love about Madlock. Now notice, it's your local choice for new tires and auto repair. If I go to the top, this is their website. If you go to the upper right, schedule auto service. One of the nice things is that they give you the option just when it's convenient for you for an oil change. You can simply come here, request your tire service, right? They have enter your zip code, right? And then if you say, I'm close to Lenoir City, so I'll just select this, and you can select your location, and you're off and running. And they give you some, what you would like to do, tire, wheel services, brakes, battery service, maintenance service, fluids, inspection service, all of it. So you got to love the ability to just check out the website. I love Matlock Tire Service and Auto Repair. If you haven't checked it out, they have been around since 1953. You can't do something since 1953. If you're doing it wrong, then you wouldn't be in business. But they've been doing this multi-generational. Matlock Tire Service and Auto Repair, the best in town when you need an oil change or a whole new set of tires, because you might want a whole new set of tires as we emerge eventually out of winter time. All right, let's speak about temperatures for a moment. 38 currently. That's our reading at the moment. But one thing you'll notice is it's 33 in Johnson City, but 43 Jackson, Kentucky. I mean, like I said, that's weird. Why are the temperatures so different? It's because that southwest wind, where it's moving, particularly on ridges, is warming some folks up. And that's why Charleston, West Virginia is 45 and 43 in Jackson, Kentucky. And it's also 43 in Jackson, Tennessee. But that's something to take note of. There will be some variability. Wind chills are about 31 at the moment. Now, this is something that I think some of you are going to be talking about for some time today. You might say, hey, did you see that live stream Aldrich put out today? That was pretty interesting. Let me get to the nuts and bolts of that. Milder today with plenty of sun. We expect spots of rain Thursday afternoon, and I don't think it's going to be much or not be very heavy in the valley. It might be particularly heavier for the plateau with the warm front, but it turns soggy on Friday, mainly in the morning. Some wraparound showers will be found Friday afternoon, but clouds to sunshine on Saturday. I do expect the Saturday afternoon to be brighter than the morning, and I do think it's mostly sunny on Sunday, so take that into consideration as we head into the weekend. But nice warm weather is certainly pleasant to see. Seasonal snow analysis, what are we looking at here? This is actually an estimation of how much snow we've had. Now, we know officially Knoxville's had 4.9. This is suggesting it's a tad higher, 5. That rounded it up. But if you go toward the Smokies, they've had 36. Newport in that area since the season began, 8.5. Is that correct? Does that line up with what you've had in Maynardville, 5.5? Jamestown, Oneida, Wartburg, maybe 2.5 since the season started. Maybe 4.5 for parts of Cumberland County. Loudon about 3.5. Rogersville or thereabouts, maybe 5 inches. Greenville. I love being able to just do a little query or a pixel query. That's all I'm doing is checking out some of the snow totals as estimated by the radar. And what's interesting to see, some of these darker blues areas would suggest over 4. Now, if you look at the Smokies, Newfound Gap may be closer to 28, but some of those ridges around Gatlinburg may be closer to 13. So if that's the case, let me see why it's kind of interesting to look around the country. Because if we expand the view, they've had more in parts of Louisiana. How do I know? Because I see it's turned pink there. And some areas, they've had 13. And last I checked, 13 inches in Louisiana is more snow than we've had. They've had more snow in Baton Rouge at 5.5, technically. Mobile might not have had as much, but some areas in Florida, maybe 9, 8.5. It's been a crazy land with the snow. Even parts of South Georgia have had over 5 or 6. So it's amazing to see. Even Houston, Texas has picked up about 2.5 inches of snow since this season began. Now, that's mind-blowing, yes, but when you look at what's going on in the Rockies, I mean, it's intense when you're in the Rockies because it's a whole other world. I mean, you look at some of these numbers, it's over 300. 300 inches, that couldn't possibly be true. Yeah, 355. East of Salt Lake City, about 165. There are some areas that have picked up over 200 and some inches of snow. That's not surprising because they're in the Rockies themselves. You look around Minneapolis, about 10. North of Milwaukee, 18. Some areas in the UP of Michigan, 190. I mean, you say, well, that's why I don't live there. Good point. Maybe that's why you don't live downwind of Lake Erie. They've had 140. Tug Hill Plateau, about 245. Our friends in West Virginia have had over 100. That's amazing stuff. Louisville has had probably about 14. Maybe not far from Lexington, about a foot or more, 16. So a lot of snow can fall when you have this kind of crazy system. Now, did you expect this, Aldrich? It's funny that you should ask, because if you look at what I posted on the 28th of October of 2024, that was a long time ago. I know. That's why I said if you joined us on Premium, you would have been given more than just this little snapshot. This is a screenshot from my winter weather outlook. And my headlines were as follows: more warm spells than cold spells. That's what's about to verify. A fast start in a cold December, and expect a few surprises. Did you expect that Pensacola would have more snow than Knoxville? No, I didn't. That's why I said expect a few surprises. And we're not done with surprises, because I'm building up to something. If you think that February, while it might start warm, that we're done with winter, you're not thinking straight. Because I'm telling you, winter's going to come back. And it might come back around Valentine's Day. It might come back sooner. Or maybe a day or two later we have Valentine's Day, President's Day. Please don't think winter's over just because you see 60s in yours truly's 7-day. You're going to find another round of winter. It'll come back. And if you look at my headlines, my first bullet point, more warm spells than cold spells. And I said a fast start to December, and expect a few surprises. And I don't think the surprises are done. I'm talking Gomer Pyle, surprise, surprise. Yeah, we're not done with the surprise. There are still some surprises. We started November. Now, I remember I came out with this October 28, right? Before this November started. And November was like, it was super hot. We had a record high on the 7th, 82. We had all those orange squares. It was super warm. And you're telling me we're going to have a fast start to winter? Ha, I'll believe it when I see it. That might have been how some might have viewed my winter weather outlook. And if that was the case, I certainly delivered, because when we got to December, the first 7 days were below normal, and we picked up our first measurable snow on the 11th of December. We picked up 0.7. That's more than a half inch. And it was 56 at midnight. But as you know, it started to snow between 7 and 11 in the morning. 7 to 11 in the morning, that rain went right to snow, and people, I measured it. I got over a half inch, and we did. So really, the only two measurable snows we've had was the 11th of December and the 10th of January, when we picked up 4.9 as it was revised. Now you look at January, this is the current time. We hit 53 yesterday. We've been so cold. I mean, think about it. We've had, what, 22 days, 21 days or so of cold air. It's been cold. And some of you are ready to shake the cold right off as we head toward February. And many of you will think that winter is over. But hear me now, believe me later, it's not over. And no, many of you know it does get cold sometime around late February, early March. We had a thing called a blizzard in '93. Don't think that winter's over. It's going to come back. But I want you to enjoy winter, or at least the way it shows up now, in every stage that you get. Because every day's a gift, right? Whatever it is, whatever Mother Nature throws your way. It is currently 43 in Huntington. It is 57 in Houston, 62 in Miami. It doesn't look too bad in the Dakotas, but it is -4 in Caribou. That's where the really cold air is beginning to move away. All right, let's get to the forecast. Wind chills right now aren't bad here, but there are certainly some chills. We feel like 32, but it feels much colder out in the Rockies. As far as the futurecast, just another illustration that it will come back. Notice the purple area. It starts to retreat to Montreal. The warm air takes hold. Everyone's, I think Puxatawny Phil will be sucker punched into thinking that spring is here permanently. But what he fails to recognize, or may, is what's going on in Calgary and what's going on in Minneapolis, St. Paul, by the time we hit February 3rd. There looks like it's like the hot stays hot, cold stays cold. But I can assure you, what's going on in Minneapolis on February 3rd is eventually going to come back down here. So be prepared. I have to say this because some people just say, well, I guess we're done with winter. No, we're not. It's on vacation. It'll come back as it typically does. All right, it is now 6:59. I know it went long, but I wanted to cover as much as I could so that you would be prepared for the day ahead. Speaking of the day ahead, Valley Planner, mostly sunny, turning milder. We should be in the upper 50s in Knoxville, 57, but if you hit 58 or 59 today, it wouldn't surprise me. Spotty rain tomorrow afternoon. Periods of rain on Friday, most of it's in the morning. Storm Prediction Center is lighting up the skies with some color today because Dallas-Fort Worth could, in fact, have some isolated severe storms today. We could throw Waco in there, Abilene in there, but nothing really in the state of Tennessee today. We look quiet, and we'll find, again, mostly sunny skies here on a Wednesday. Now, tomorrow is Thursday. Notice the severe weather. This is the rain maker that's coming for us on Friday. They will see thunder down here, scattered severe storms in yellow. But places like Monroe, Louisiana, even places like Dallas and Waco could get isolated severe storms tomorrow. Some thunder in Nashville, but really, if we get a rumble of thunder, I think it's going to be quite isolated, and that's what they have, at least for us Friday. Further south, we can include Pensacola, Destin for some isolated severe storms Friday, but most of us have fair game for at least a rumble thunder on Friday in that light shade of green. Futurecast shows this front moving away today. It's going to bring in a few high clouds tonight, but high temperatures well into the upper 50s. Tomorrow, it looks like we're in a kind of a split zone, meaning some areas south of the Southern Valley could be a lot warmer, and should be, than we will north and east. So if you look at this configuration, places like Chattanooga will be toasty and warm, near 60. We may have a hard time getting out of the low to mid-50s. Just depends on how quickly that warm front lifts. Eventually, as it does, the cold front will come in, and we're going to have this to greet you in the morning on Friday. So the wipers will be working overtime at least Friday morning, maybe a few wraparound showers on Friday afternoon. And I mentioned some clouds giving way to sunshine on Saturday. Saturday I have us generally in the mid-50s. So let's get to the forecast. It's now 7:01. 57 a high, mostly sunny, turning milder. I do think winds are 5 to 15 and will be gusting around 20, maybe as high as 25, but generally around 20 miles per hour. High temperatures today, 55 Morristown, 56 Oak Ridge, 57 for Maryville, and 56 for Sevierville and Pigeon Forge. Traveling today, it's a win-win if you head south. They're at 64 in Atlanta, 69 in Augusta, Georgia, and should be around 60 in Nashville. Even Lexington will get a little bit warmer for them. They're in the lower 50s. More high clouds tonight. 32 degrees your low. It's freezing. We'll call it chilly. Normal low is 30. And we'll be down to about 30 for Jamestown and Oneida. Should be about 35 for Sevierville and 32 in Crossville. That's my expectation for tonight. Looking ahead to your Captain Accurate Weather Authority forecast for Knoxville and East Tennessee, we have 55 on Thursday. That's spots of rain, 60 on Friday. It is Puxatawny Day. On Sunday, it's when the little Puxatawny Phil comes out of his burrow at Gobbler's Knob. Should be in the mid-60s. Why wouldn't he think spring's here? That tends to be a crowd pleaser, but any rain that we get Thursday into Friday will be beneficial. As I've mentioned, we've had a dry start to the year. Dry January is certainly shaping up, because if we get a half inch, it's not going to make up for the lost ground. We're running about 2.11 inches below normal as of today, so at 2.19 for the total, when we average about 4.76 for sure. By the way, if you have a comment, I'd love to say hi to you. I got Janet Potts on here. She is saying, thank you so much. Have a nice day, everyone. Glad to see her here. Dawn Coleman is loving the fact that even though her Team Spring fans might spike the football, Dawn, I think, instinctively knows winter will make a return visit. Hallie says good morning, and she's on Team Snow. She's like my Team Snow commissioner, as it were. She's one of my premium members, as is Marilyn Bell, and she's got a happy Wednesday, a balmy 46 degrees outside. So very thankful for all of you. And make sure you pick up, maybe you pick up an appointment today with Madlock Tire Service and Auto Repair. They are East Tennessee's #1 tire service and auto repair since 1953. That you know they're doing something right. They're in Knoxville, Maryville, Lenoir City, Athens, and Hardin Valley. MadlockTireService.com. Their website is awesome. It's very friendly, and you can set it up any way that you like, so that you are, you know, you're on their calendar when you go to their website. Well, my name is David Aldrich. We'll see you here soon. Take care.